The Warsaw Pact and Allied commanders thought and were very clear that hundreds or even thousands of small tactical atomic bombs would have to be used in case of a confrontation. To provide a broader context, the Tsar bomb, which we all remember as being the largest nuclear bomb ever detonated on our planet, had a power of about 58 megatons. It created an explosion over the Russian Arctic in 1961, about 3,000 times larger than the most powerful explosion until that moment, the nuke used on Hiroshima. It was observable from hundreds of kilometers away and generated a mushroom cloud that rose to more than 60 kilometers high. This mushroom cloud rose well into the mesosphere. Ironically, Soviet military planners never mass-produced the bomb. The Tsar bomb was something too destructive even for a nuclear warhead. In this video, we will step away from tools of mass destruction to focus on weapons with a more tactical purpose. M388 Davy Crockett. This is a tactical and miniature atomic bomb with low performance. Well, they were intending to use a bunch of these 23 kilos nukes against large formations and concentrations of armored and infantry that the USSR had. It was very easily transportable because it was so light that it could fit in practically all kinds of vehicles. It was launched from a specially designed tripod. At the heart of the M388, we can find a W-54 warhead, perhaps the smallest nuclear device ever developed in the world. This warhead gave a performance between 10 to 20 tons of TNT, generating an explosion about 0.01% the size of the Hiroshima bomb. Anyone within feet of the explosion evaporated instantly, while those a quarter of a mile away suffered a lethal dose of radiation. And for the loudmouths in the audience, I will tell you that 500 feet are 150 meters, and a quarter mile is 400 meters. The launcher itself was operated by a crew of 3 men and had a range of only 2 miles. A single team operated the M388 could deliver firepower equivalent to 50 salvos from a 155 mm battery. This is enough to stop any assault. However, if it had been used in large enough quantities, the weapon would undoubtedly have left various strips of central Germany uninhabitable. Over 2,000 units would be manufactured and delivered from the manufacturer to the army from 61. A couple of these warheads were even available to the 82 Airborne, which enabled paratrooper teams to deploy quickly and even mount them in the rear of the enemy. In 67, the Pentagon withdrew these weapons from frontline units and eliminated the system altogether. The W-54 warhead continued to be used as special backpack-sized atomic demolition munitions. Another similar type of bomb, the United States created the Mark 90 nuclear bomb known as Betty in 1952 with nuclear depth charge. The MADAM or medium atomic demolition munition was a nuclear landmine built in the United States. It had a yield that ranged from 1 to 15 kilotons. Imagine if a mine could detonate like a Hiroshima bomb to help thwart any significant communist onslaught in Western Europe. The Red Army's march would have been impeded as a consequence of it. By doing this, NATO counterattacks could pass over those openings. The United States was not the only NATO power to develop this kind of device. The Blue Peacock was a similar bomb of about 10 kilotons that could be found under critical infrastructure anywhere in West Germany. These top-secret weapons could be set to explode within 8 days of NATO withdrawal, leaving the Soviets with radioactive craters within those territories conquered. The British ordered an unknown number of these bombs deployed in West Germany in 57, but removed them a year later. They recognized that the project's political consequences could be just as toxic as nuclear waste. In the freezing German winter months, sensitive electronic components inside buried bombs stopped working. The engineers proposed enclosing live chickens inside the 7-ton bombshells, along with food and water. The birds were expected to generate enough body heat to prevent explosive electronics from freezing and losing communication. Artillery shells of the W-48 type. They cost $1.25 million each and could be fired by conventional artillery pieces of 155 mm. The W-48 created an explosion equivalent to 72 tons of TNT, approximately 3 to 7 times more powerful than the David Crockett. Other U.S. nuclear artillery projectiles included the 203mm W-33 and the huge 1.1 kiloton W-79 projectile. As an example, the CF-101 Voodoo of the 50s could fire air missiles with nuclear tip against formations of Soviet bombers, Tu-95. There was no need to aim a missile of this type. For example, the AIR-2 Jenny missile did not have to reach a specific target with a warhead of 1.5 megatons. The truth is that it would sweep everything 1 kilometer above and 1 kilometer below. The American Air Forces, as the Canadian ones, were equipped with this class of missile. But curiously, of the 3,000 and something bombs that were manufactured, only one detonated on Earth. It was only tested once in a detonation at a considerable height over the Nevada test range. It detonated 6 kilometers high. Additionally, it demonstrated the low risk involved with this kind of weaponry. Even in the midst of the civilian population, some military troops allegedly stood in the open beneath the explosion without any safety gear. Many men endured injuries related to these atomic experiments and suffered needlessly.